What's going on, guys? Welcome on back to Second and Short. My name is Tyler Lauder, joined again with my co-host Aaron Ben, and we are back for round 2 of our playoff prediction show. We're going to be breaking down the divisional round here. If you guys are not already, click subscribe down below to stay up to date on everything we got going on for Second and Short. Drop a like, cheapest way to support us here, and check out all of our social handles down in the description as well. With all that being said, let's talk about Saturday's action. Aaron, lead us off with a key matchup for Green Bay versus the LA Rams.
All right, well, before I start off, I think this is the only game that both of us have predicted to have the same winner. So this is kind of like a warm-up, then we'll get really into things. For me, I think the key matchup here is the Rams secondary against the Packers wide receivers, specifically Jalen Ramsey and how he can perform against Davante Adams. If Ramsey can shut down Davante Adams most of the game or the entire game, like he's shown that he can do against players like DK Metcalf, I think the Packers will have to kind of start to rely more on the run game, which we've seen them do that this year as well. But I think that can be the one matchup that'll kind of really affect how the Packers come out on offense.
No, I agree. And this season he's been playing pretty good, Jalen Ramsey, and Davante Adams is playing really well. Jalen Ramsey is allowing about 50% of his targets to actually turn into receptions. He's not allowing a lot of yards. You know, you can tell that he's making a big impact on that yardage that he's disallowing, because to his 32 receptions he's allowed, he has 39 tackles. So to me, that's showing that almost as soon as they're catching the ball, he's getting the guy down. Davante Adams has been on fire over these past this whole year. The only time that Davante Adams has really been stalled or stopped are the games that he's missed due to injury. I think that the only issue we have here, this is a key matchup, as we said, because both these guys make big plays and big players make big plays on big days, is the fact that, you know, the Packers have a lot of other weapons. They can run the ball, they can adjust. So if Jalen Ramsey wins this matchup here, how well the Packers adjust is going to dictate the result of this game.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that this is a perfect quarterback to have if you get into a predicament like that. Like if you're one of your key players is taken away, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's the MVP for a reason. He'll get the ball to where it needs to go. And whether that's handing the ball off to Aaron Jones in the backfield or even throwing it to him like screens and out routes and stuff like that, I think Rodgers, he's playing on fire this year, coming into the twilight of his career. I think he's going to have what it takes to get it done. On the other side, the Los Angeles Rams offense, as even with Jared Goff, has not been great. Jeremy Goff has not been great. We talked about it before. I think the Packers defense, although it's not amazing, I think they're going to not have a real hard time with the Rams offense. So I think for me, this is a pretty easy win for the Packers.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this as like, look at what the Rams did last week. And the Rams got what? They're like one of the top scoring defenses in the league. Packers top scoring offenses in the league. Here's the issue. Like, I get those things might almost cancel each other out. You'd look at when you're comparing these two. However, Rams offense is much worse than the Packers defense. And I think that might also be another factor here. I just think, well, the Rams defense is great. The Packers team is just too good from top to bottom. And if they get up early, this game is over. The Rams cannot keep up. They can't, they're going to be able to outscore teams into the 30s, in my opinion. With my pick I got going on here, I got the Green Bay Packers winning 30-17. Aaron, you also have the Packers winning. What score do you got?
Yeah, I have the Packers winning, and not quite as big a margin as you do. I think they will have some hard times with the Rams defense, but ultimately I see them winning 20-14.
And now moving on to our second game, and that is the number 2 Buffalo Bills hosting the number 5 Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore came in last week, and we didn't really get to talk about it. You took a very good timely exit from the podcast this week. They took down your Tennessee Titans. Buffalo Bills survived the Colts thanks to some poor play calling at the end of each half. But in this matchup, we're going to be looking at, it's Lamar Jackson. He's on fire. He's playing great. Can he continue this, and how well can the Bills pass rush, like QB spy him and everything, and just keep an eye on him?
Yeah, for me, it all comes down to how you contain Lamar Jackson. If you look back last year to the divisional round when the Titans did beat the Ravens, they had Lamar Jackson got a lot of yardage on them, but that was a lot of stuff in garbage time in the second half. They played contained very well, and I think that's what the Bills are going to have to do against Lamar Jackson. If they can keep him in check and kind of get up early, the Ravens are not built to make a comeback. I know they came back by 10 points against my team last week, but they're really not a team to come back from too far behind. So if the Bills get up early, I think the Ravens have a really hard time.
Now, the thing we also have to look at here is both these quarterbacks, not just Lamar Jackson, but also Josh Allen, who's been playing fantastic this year. They both kind of have this ability to turn over the ball. Not a ton. They're not like Jameis Winston type turnover, but we do see instances where, they overthrow or underthrow somebody, or they can hold on to the ball too long because they both like to scramble, and they're both young. And sometimes young players kind of just get a little loose with that ball when they're running it. I think another matchup we got to look at is the quarterback duel. I know people don't like, you were talking about this, you don't like talk about matchups because between two of the same positions because they don't ever go against each other, but I think it's going to be a duel here. Josh Allen is going to outduel Lamar Jackson. I mean, in the end, it's going to come down to the battle of the pass rush and whoever gets more turnovers, really, but I think Josh Allen is going to play better than Lamar Jackson. I think he'll have over 100 plus more yards total than him. And for me, Buffalo, it's like who can score like crazy. I just think that they will give Baltimore a better run for their money than the Titans did defensively. And for that, I have the Buffalo Bills winning this game 28-27.
All right. Well, here's where I disagree with you because I know the Bills have an explosive offense. We just saw last week the Ravens shut down the number one offense in the league. It held the Titans to just 13 points, which is crazy. I think Wink Martindale, their defensive coordinator, he probably won't get a head coaching job this year, but he should be in talks within the next couple of years. I think their defense is really, really good right now, and their team as a whole is just on fire lately. I know the Bills are one of the hottest teams in the league. The Ravens, in my opinion, might be even hotter than them. They got momentum. I think the Ravens are going to pull off the victory. I think it's not going to be by much, just about 21-20. But yeah, I'm going for the upset here.
Yeah, and I mean I could say really if Lamar Jackson holds on to that ball and does not turn it over, they have an opportunity. I mean, they've won 6 consecutive games now, dating back to December, and they are on fire. They run the ball really well, and Buffalo's run game isn't very strong. So Josh Allen is looking to show that he is in the MVP category conversation type thing with Aaron Rodgers. And if that's the situation, that's going to be real. You got to make big plays in the divisional round. All right, and that's enough with Saturday's action. Let's switch on over to Sunday. And Sunday is going to be the exact same as Saturday. It's going to lead off with the number 1 seed, just the other side of it. Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Cleveland Browns in the second round of the playoffs. Yes, you heard me right. The Cleveland Browns are in the second round of the playoffs. Not just the playoffs, they won a playoff game. I mean, this is turning the tables for us here, going back in time.
It really is a kind of a changing of the guard in the NFL. I mean, you saw the Bills in the second round of the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game since 95. Browns haven't won a playoff game since it was 94, I think. The Bucks haven't won a playoff game since 2002 when they won the Super Bowl. So it's really kind of like you see all these dynasties kind of come crumbling down, and a lot of young teams, young quarterbacks come bubbling up. So it's kind of exciting to see, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think this Cleveland Browns team we've been talking about for a while, and it's like, yeah, but are they actually going to get over the hump? Are they going to actually show that this roster is one of the most talented rosters in the NFL from top to bottom? And they've had some big injuries that have kind of derailed them. I mean, even last week, they had coaches out. They didn't, like, Kevin Stefanski couldn't even be there to coach the game. They were down to their special teams coach calling plays for them. And they were out. Joe Bittner was out at guard, and then they lost Jack Conklin in that second quarter. And Then Pittsburgh started coming back, and I was like, oh man, here we go. But the Browns held on strong. They held on strong. And this Browns team has been getting better and better every week as well. Yes, I'm going to just erase that Week 16 game against the Jets. In my mind, it really never happened. It was a trap game. I don't think trap games define you as a team, but I think this Browns team is looking really good this weekend. And really, it's if the offensive line is healthy, they're all there. They have a chance in this game.
Yeah, the offensive line, I agree. They have one of the better offensive lines in the league. And building on that is also the Browns' run game. I think for me, a key matchup here is the Chiefs' defense. If they can keep the run game in check, they got Kareem Hunt, they got Nick Chubb, two very good running backs. And that's kind of been like how their offense is run, and Baker Mayfield has built off that. Yeah, I think if the run game can't get going, I'm still not sold. I know he's been really good the second half of the year. I'm still not sold on Baker Mayfield being able to come in and actually like be the one to carry the team to a meaningful victory against a good team. Like I said, the main matchup for me here is the Chiefs defense against those two running backs.
Yeah, see, for me, the situation is that if Baker Mayfield isn't pressured all game and the offensive line can hold up and provide holes for these running backs, it's going to be a hard time for the Chiefs, because with a team that is willing to run the ball more than they throw it, that means that they are willing to drain the clock and take the chance of having less time at the end of a game and giving you less time at the end of the game. And we see the Chiefs all the time go down and score like it's like a 5-play, 72-yard drive. Like they score quickly. And the Browns are going to try and tire out this defense. And I think as time takes on, the Browns offensive line is going to tire out this Chiefs pass rush. And we're not going to see a lot from them in that fourth quarter. And it's going to give Baker Mayfield a chance to win the game at the very end. I got Cleveland Browns winning 35-31. I know you got the Chiefs, but I think either way, this game is going to be good for fans. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, definitely going to be a good game. Like you said, I have the Chiefs winning. I think the Chiefs have had almost 2 weeks off to rest and get ready and healthy. We've seen it like through the last half of the season. The Chiefs have kind of pulled off some close victories over like not so great opponents. But the thing for me is they've pulled off those wins, and now in the playoffs, since having won the Super Bowl already, they already know what it takes, how you have to play to get the championship. So I think they're gonna remember how they needed to play last year. They're gonna keep riding that high, and I think Pat Mahomes is gonna come back from his break well rested and ready to win. I got the Chiefs winning it, a high scoring game, 31-30.
Yeah, and that is true. I mean, we have Andy Reid here, who is a Super Bowl caliber coach. He's he might be the best coach in the NFL right now, just for how long he's been able to turn teams into powerhouses and mainstays in their conference. And the Browns don't have that experience. There's really nobody on their roster that has deep playoff experience. And I think that, you know what, the Chiefs have been playing everybody close. Yeah, sure, they could pull out another close victory. I just think when you're flirting with disaster that many times, eventually you're going to get bit in the ass. I think that's how the phrase goes, or the saying goes. I don't know. I might have just made something up.
No, that was it. Yeah, that was Abraham Lincoln said that.
Thank you. All right. Now from I cannot tell a lie, or that's George Washington. I don't know. Let's move to the next game.
I think it's Pocahontas, actually.
Something like that. And this is maybe One Last Dance. You guys have seen it from the thumbnail, the graphic. Had a little fun with it this weekend. Aaron did. And we get Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on New Orleans Saints. It's a 2 versus 5 seed. It's also a divisional matchup. It's also the third time they're playing this year. And the Saints got the better of them the first 2 games. It took care of them in week 1 and later on in the season. And it kind of looked like the Saints were clearly the better team. However, we have seen this Tampa Bay team ball out and play great defensively and offensively.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about hot teams before with the Ravens and the Bills. The Bucks also up there in the conversation for me. And it looks like Tom Brady and Bruce Arians are finally getting kind of in sync. Finally kind of getting in sync with each other. The offense is crazy good. Defense is also very, very good. They've got a lot of talent at every position. And like you said, it's incredibly difficult to beat one team 3 times in a season. This game kind of rides on the key matchup being the Bucks defense and whether or not they can contain Alvin Kamara. Because I feel like Drew Brees, he's kind of like, you've seen what his arm strength is like the last couple of years. He's kind of relying on those slants. And I think it's going to kind of be this possession game where the Saints are going to try and keep the ball away from Tom Brady in that explosive offense. I think they're just kind of ride Alvin Kamara to victory.
Yeah, and they could do that. Yeah, and I mean, and you have the Saints winning this game as well, as you said, ride them to victory. I think it's Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is going to control this game, is going to dominate this game. I mean, the Buccaneers, they went 11-5 on the season. 2 of those losses, as I said, were to the Saints, where they got blown out midseason and lost by 2 scores in week 1. But every other loss they've had has been a 1-score game, but like 3 points or less. I mean, they played the Rams really close. They played the Chiefs really close. They played the Bears really close. And this is the good Bears, like back in like week, I think it was like week 4 or 5.
Yeah, something like that.
This Tampa Bay team is better than we think. They're not getting enough credit because they've already lost to the Saints, and Drew Brees is coming into his own, which I kind of gave credit to on our Monday show. But I just think I have this rule, and people hate Tom Brady, whatever. But I have a rule that I always stick to, and it's called the Tom Brady rule. And if Tom Brady's in the playoffs, you never bet against him until he's eliminated. That's the only time you're allowed to bet against him. I mean, this guy has played in, this is going to be his 43rd playoff game? 43rd. That's almost double of like Dan Marino, John Elway, Peyton Manning. That's insane numbers. He has another chance to go to his record 10th Super Bowl, and all he's got to do is take down one of the teams that has been haunting him this whole season. And I think they're going to get it done here. For me, I have Tampa Bay winning this game 31-20. I think Brees is going to have some turnovers, and Kamara's not going to get it going against these Buccaneers linebackers. Levante David looked great last week.
Yeah, this is by far the hardest game for me to pick this week. Yeah, I got to go with just my gut feeling. I know I said it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. My gut feeling here says that the Saints are going to somehow pull it off. I think it's going to be really close. I mean, all of the scores I've predicted so far are close. I think this is going to be 24-23, just a 1-point game. And probably will come down to just a last-minute field goal would be my guess.
Yeah, very possible and everything. This like really pains me as a Panthers fan to like one of these teams automatically makes the NFC Championship game. And so I think no matter what happens, I'm going to be disappointed on the NFC side as a fan. So I'm rooting for the AFC this year. But that's going to do it for us here on Second and Short in our divisional round playoff predictions. We're close. We're almost done with the season. And I think the NFL has laid out these games perfectly to give us the best competitive nature at each time slot. I think it's the best layout they've had. Ending with Saints Tampa Bay is great. Starting with Green Bay and the Rams is great. Who knows? Maybe we'll get all 1 and 2 seeds. Maybe we'll get all upsets. But I don't think there's any team in the playoffs this year that you could actually count out and say they're not going to win. I just think this is one of the best years for playoffs. That's just me. If you guys would like to check us out on other social media platforms, be sure to look at us on...
we're on Facebook where we update every episode that comes out. We're also on Twitter where we post polls and try to interact with everyone. And then on Instagram where we have posts every episode that comes out, midweek posts like news updates, fantasy stuff, injury reports, things like that. And also feel free to send us a message, whatever platform, whenever you like, whatever time of day.
Thank you guys for listening, and enjoy this week's playoff games.